Hi, my name is Linda Cirulli-Burton, and welcome to this channel named Above the Battleground, ACIM. Today, the topic that I want to deal with is the fear that so many of us have about looking at our own darkness, our own shadow sides. Some of us become just really petrified of this, as though we've made a decision now to dwell on darkness, and the dwelling on the darkness will now attract darkness to us. And of course, that's not anything that ACIM teaches. But I want to talk about this today with you because it's really a very a subject that is really difficult for so many of us. Now, Above the Battleground is based on the teachings of a spiritual self-study path known as A Course in Miracles. I've been a student of A Course in Miracles since 1992, and over this past year particularly felt the urge to share lessons and insights with the intention that in sharing and in researching, this will go deeper and deeper within me and maybe be of some benefit to you. So today, the fear of looking at our darkness, I want to tell you that once I had decided that I would do this topic, I was reminded of a book that was published in 1998 by a woman named Debbie Ford, and it was called The Dark Side of the Light Chasers. And my heavens, it just roared to being a bestseller because so many of us who have been searching throughout our lives also come with that desire to deny or repress what is also a part of us. Remember, everybody that we meet has the dark side, the wrong-minded side, the side that the ego side, and has the right-minded side, the side that is filled with spirit. So let me just say that denial, we won't progress. I have to get that out there. If we do not look at our dark stuff, we can't release it. So in the glossary index, I wanted to read to you just a little bit about the concept of denial. Avoiding guilt by pushing the decision that made it out of awareness, rendering it inaccessible to correction or atonement, roughly equivalent to repression. And it protects the ego's belief that it is our source and not God. Okay. I have become enamored of actually looking up dictionary words for terms that are used so often, but I've never really looked at what a dictionary said it was. So I looked up denial, and denial came out selectively: negation, refutation, repudiation. So because repression is roughly the same, I looked up repression. These words were very dynamic. Quelling, quashing, crushing, squashing, stamping out, dominating. Okay. Denial, repression. And what we often use it for is to hide, not to look at what we would understand to be our dark side. So I want everyone to understand that without looking at our dark side, not dwelling on it, not spending hours being enamored with it, but just looking at it. My choice to look at those parts of me is with Jesus and the Holy Spirit. Look at them with the loving, compassionate, non-judgmental symbol for me of absolute and perfect love. which is, for me, Jesus. Now, A Course in Miracles is absolutely devoted to helping us bring our darkness, which really are our illusions, to the light, which is the truth of who we really are. So bringing our guilt to the light, what would this mean? Well, there's some phrasing that I found in A Course in Miracles that really says it all. The secret sins and hidden hates, held in the ego mind, covered over with heavy layers of denial and projection. Now, lately, I have really gone for it. In some ways, you could say I've kind of been going through the dark night of the soul because I am no longer willing to deny or repress the parts of me that come out of the ego mind that are filled with rage and hate. I'm not content anymore with letting it just sort of gurgle in my unconscious mind. It's coming up for the healing, and it can only heal when I look at that stuff with Jesus or the Holy Spirit. Now, once again, the guilt. I've said this so many times, but it always bears repetition. The guilt that I have for breaking away from God the Father, or thinking I broke away, and thinking that I usurped God's power. That sin, and then the guilt. The guilt. I ended up projecting this giant world out there, and then projecting inside of all the divided little worlds that are in there. This is what I did in order to hide. So how I look and define my darkness, well, I've said this in other videos, and I will say this again. What do I project that is negative and hate-filled onto other people? Do I see other people being weak in the face of temptation? Do I look at other people, as I've said before, and thought that they were fake and not authentic? Have I looked at other people and thought that they were really, really cheap, not generous, just tight? Have I looked at other people like that? All I'm suggesting to you, to me, is that when that stuff goes out there, if we could take a moment, if we could pray for the courage to pull that projection inside and go to the top of the mountain, to overlook the battleground with Jesus or the Holy Spirit. Look at how I have done this. Now, what's interesting is that projection is not always on external objects, okay? It's not. There's been many times where it can be taken out on your own self, okay? So I can honestly tell you that the day that I was in a car crash, right up to the moment that it happened, I was having very, very bitter thoughts towards some people. And I really haven't been able to admit that. And interestingly, I believe that I literally punished myself for having those thoughts. What if we could understand that we are taking our guilt and projecting it onto our bodies? What if the rage that I felt towards you all of a sudden shows up on my skin as psoriasis? What if I do have an accident? Am I punishing myself instead of you? But my body is external to who I am. Just as the targets out there in my perception are external to me. In the end, I'm going to tell you, it's all the same. Look at it, and I want to just say it doesn't mean, and I think that there's a lot of new age thought out there that would say, oh my gosh, by doing this, I'm going to bring negativity to me. No, no, no. I'm getting the darkness up. I'm bringing the darkness, my illusions, to the light where there is the truth of who I really am. And who I really am is the Son of God. And if I could just look with Jesus or the Holy Spirit, or what your definition is of perfect love, and let it be seen, let it be taken away, I think amazing things can happen for all of us. So, this is from A Course in Miracles, and it just is worthy of reading to you right now. This is from chapter 14, Teaching for Truth. Each day, each hour and minute, even each second, you are deciding between the crucifixion and the resurrection, between the ego and the Holy Spirit. The ego is the choice for guilt. The Holy Spirit, the choice for guiltlessness. The power of decision is all that is yours. What you can decide between is fixed because there are no alternatives except truth and illusion. And there is no overlap between them because they are opposites, which cannot be reconciled and cannot both be true. You are guilty or guiltless, bound or free, unhappy or happy. So I just would like to encourage you to continue to notice where our darkness resides, because we're getting our guilt up from the unconscious. We're cleaning ourselves out, and really we're undoing this baloney. So thank you so much for participating with me today. This is a difficult lesson, really, but it comes with great reward. Thank you.